The San Francisco 49ers managed to dodge what could have been a nightmare of a situation this offseason, and honestly, when you look at everything that was on the line, it's kind of impressive how things turn out. I'm going to walk you through exactly what the 49ers avoided, why that was so important, and why you should actually feel a lot better about where this team stands right now. This isn't just my take, there are some well-respected voices in the sports world who back this up. So let's dig in. To start, there was a lot of tension around the team's financial decisions going into the offseason. The biggest question was about Brock Purdy and whether the 49ers could or would pay him what it would take to keep him locked in long term. That was the big financial elephant in the room. Then you had the uncertainty around extending George Kittle, who, by all accounts, is at the peak or close to the peak of his career as a 49er. And then there was Fred Warner, the anchor of their defense. Many voices said it made a lot of sense to pay Warner early, even though he still had a couple of years left on his deal. The argument there was that doing it sooner rather than later would help smooth out the salary cap hits down the road, making the financial picture easier to manage in the future. On top of that, there were multiple other players who could potentially leave in free agency, which always puts a team on edge. One of the more interesting drama points was with Dre Greenlaw. The 49ers apparently pushed hard to match what the Denver Broncos offered him, trying to keep him in San Francisco. But Greenlaw had his own reasons for not wanting to stay. He wanted to be the undisputed number one on his team. And with Fred Warner firmly entrenched as the best linebacker in the league and the leader of that defense, Dre knew he wasn't going to be able to claim that spotlight, so he chose a different path, which left the 49ers needing to fill some gaps. All of this created a sense of tension and uncertainty. But what really caught people's attention and caused concern was Brock Purdy's contract situation. There was a report this offseason that framed Purdy's deal as the biggest red flag for the team moving forward, not because of how he plays on the field, but because of the financial commitment the 49ers made to him. But here's the thing, if you don't believe in Purdy's talent or what he can bring to the team, that argument might make sense. Otherwise, it feels like an oversimplified take. If you look at the history of quarterbacks who have made a difference, guys like Tom Brady or other all-time greats never had their contracts criticized in the same way. So, to me, the real issue is whether or not you believe Purdy is the kind of quarterback who can lift a team, who can elevate the players around him, and from what I've seen, there's no question that he has that ability. Some people might disagree in the comments, and that's fine. Football is a game of opinions, but the contract itself, when you dig into the numbers, doesn't look nearly as bad as some make it out to be. In fact, when you consider the adjusted salary cap numbers and the long-term outlook, this deal could actually be a steal for the 49ers. There's even speculation that Purdy's own agent wasn't thrilled with the contract, because he probably believed they could have gotten more for his client based on his recent performances. If the agent had been happy, you would have seen a much bigger headline push, but instead, it seems like Purdy and his team accepted this deal because it's good for the franchise and good for stability moving forward. Now, putting aside the contract drama, let's look at the good news, the reason you clicked on this video. CBS Sports analyst Jared Dubin recently broke down the NFC West and gave some insights that are really encouraging for 49ers fans. The NFC West, as a division, is shaping up to be one of the toughest in the league, potentially top 3 in difficulty, and though I've been wrong about that before, the signs are pointing that way again. The Seahawks, for instance, seem to have improved in several positions outside of their quarterback situation, even though Clint Kubak's role remains to be seen. The Arizona Cardinals bolstered their defense, which is always a good sign, and the Rams appear stronger as well. As for the 49ers, the verdict is still out on whether the team got better overall. But one thing Dubin emphasized is that their defense made key improvements exactly where it needed to. This isn't necessarily about flashy upgrades on paper or adding big names, but more about becoming better at stopping the run, which was a glaring weakness last season. The defensive unit's veteran presence may have declined somewhat, but the overall effectiveness in the areas that matter most has improved, and that's what really counts. Once training camp kicks off and the 49ers start shaping their official 53-man roster, we'll get a clearer picture of how all these moves and adjustments are paying off. Reflecting on last year, Dubin pointed out that the 49ers were plagued by injuries and setbacks across their offense. Christian McCaffrey never really got started due to health issues. Deebo Samuel was never fully healthy, and Brennan Eliak suffered a major ACL injury. Ricky Pierce, a first-round pick, also faced challenges. George Kittle missed significant time, and as a result, the offense struggled to find the rhythm everyone expected. Dubin's analysis highlighted how different the team looked by the end of the season compared to what the coaching staff and players anticipated. George Kittle himself talked about this, mentioning how many new players had to be inserted throughout the year, and how the lineup he expected to be playing alongside never really materialized. Kittle even shared his concerns with head coach Kyle Shanahan, explaining how exhausting and stressful it was to keep putting his body on the line when the team seemed to be losing key players week after week. That sense of uncertainty and instability was felt throughout the organization. Everyone realized this was a very different 49ers team than the one they planned to field when the season started. Looking ahead, Dubin expressed cautious optimism. He expects aging veterans like Christian McCaffrey and Trent Williams to remain healthy, which would be a major boost. He also praised the receiving corps, specifically Ricky Pierce, George Kittle, and Jawan Jennings, pointing out that they're talented players who bring a mix of receiving skills and blocking ability. Pierce, in particular, still needs to improve his blocking, but the overall depth and talent at wide receiver bode well for the offense while Brandon Ayuk is out recovering from injury. The 49ers have been active in improving that position group, but that's a conversation for another video. Dubin also made a point about the coaching staff, saying there are few coaches better at scheming and play design than Kyle Shanahan. Shanahan's offensive mind inspires confidence that the 49ers can run an effective offense this year. This is important because some have questioned whether the offense can bounce back after such a tough previous season. Dubin's analysis suggests that with Shanahan at the helm, the team's offense is poised to return to being a top 5 unit if the key players stay healthy. On the defensive side, Dubin introduced a key addition in Robert Saleh. Saleh's previous team in New York didn't have a strong offense, which isn't surprising, but their defense was consistently impressive. Saleh has a reputation for getting the best out of his players, and that's a trait that resonated with me personally in every sport I've followed. The quality I admire most in a coach is the ability to unlock a player's full potential. Scheming and tactics are important, but the true magic happens when a coach can motivate and develop his players to perform beyond expectations. That's the kind of coach Saleh is, and I'm excited to see what he does with the 49ers, especially with the younger players and rookies who could benefit hugely from his approach. There's another interesting angle from Fox Sports where Rick Bucker named Brock Purdy as the quarterback most likely to make the playoffs this season, ranking him ahead of names like Patrick Mahomes, Aaron Rodgers, Joe Burrow, and Lamar Jackson. Bucker pointed out the brutal competition in the AFC as a major factor in his prediction, and believes the NFC offers a clearer path for Purdy and the 49ers. Meanwhile, Joy Williams, despite generally being more critical, agreed that the 49ers are being underestimated and written off too quickly by fans and analysts alike. All these positive takes combined paint a much rosier picture for San Francisco than some of the early off-season worries suggested. The team's future looks bright if they can stay healthy and continue to develop, and there's plenty to be excited about as the new season approaches. Let me know what you think in the comments, because there's a lot to unpack here, and the way this team shapes up could surprise a lot of people. But before we dive in, don't forget to subscribe to For 9ers Zone and hit the like button on this video. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest updates on the San Francisco 49ers, and don't forget to share your thoughts on the news in the comments below. The NFL rumor mill is spinning once again, and this time, it's swirling around none other than Tyreek Hill. Sources close to the situation have hinted at the possibility of the star wide receiver king his way to the Bay Area. Could Hill be preparing to don the red and gold of the San Francisco 49ers? The whispers began earlier this week when Hill was reportedly seen in Santa Clara, sparking a frenzy of speculation among fans and insiders alike. While nothing has been confirmed, there is a growing sense that a deal may be closer than anyone initially expected. Hill, known for his game-breaking speed and electric playmaking, would be a massive addition to an already potent 49ers offense. Imagine pairing Hill with Deebo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk, and George Kittle, a nightmare scenario for opposing defenses. Head coach Kyle Shanahan has long been praised for his ability to maximize versatile offensive weapons, and Hill would fit seamlessly into that scheme. With Brock Purdy continuing to develop at quarterback, the addition of a receiver like Hill could elevate the 49ers to another level offensively. Financially, there are still questions to be answered. Hill is under contract and any potential move would likely involve serious cap maneuvering or a significant trade package. Still, stranger things have happened in the NFL, and where there's smoke, there's often fire. For now, the only certainty is the growing buzz. Tyreek Hill's presence near Levi Stadium may be coincidental, or it might be the first sign of a blockbuster move in the making. One thing's for sure, 49ers fans will be watching every development with bated breath, hoping that the Cheetah is ready to run in San Francisco. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to keep receiving exclusive news about the San Francisco 49ers, make sure to subscribe to 49ers Zone and give this video a like. We always look forward to hearing your comments and opinions. See you in the next video.